are back. We are live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for you, the always valued and appreciated listener. Radio brought to you and for hunters, from hunters, by hunters. Tonight, should be some interesting stuff going on. I'm looking here and we've already got people flowing into the chat. Ohio Relic Hunters, Swansea, Coins Unwrapped, Home Finders in the house. That's a pleasant surprise. Quite a number of people already starting to file in there. But, like you've heard me say before, for the game to work properly, there has to be, what's that? More than one player. So, get the co-host in here. How is it going, Mr. Kenny Moore?
All right. How's it going, man? Good to be here, man. It's going to be a good show. Good to see the listeners and the chat's lighting up. And, man, I'm excited about the show. So we need to get rolling with it.
Yes, it's certainly good to have you back in the co-pilot seat there, sir.
Yes, I appreciate that, man. It's been a little taxing up here at times with Barbara and stuff, up and down. We've had a couple of, not too good moments. And, of course, we had some flooding up here. Nothing that like's going on at the Red River, and God bless those people down there. But we did have a couple of towns here that was evacuating and right next to us, and so it got interesting, but here we are. I'm ready to talk prospecting, metal detecting, anything that's got to do with our hobby, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this week, well, I guess first I should mention last week, big thanks out to Chris Engel for filling those hard-to-fill shoes of
yes,
spot.
Absolutely. When something comes up, and it often does, Chris is there and ready, man. I appreciate it there, Mr. Beer Barrel.
Yes, he's in the chat, too. Last week's guest. Definitely some entertainment, information, and a good time. And this week, we've got some information and entertainment of a different flavor, so to speak, for this excursion of detecting candy. Definitely some good information, though, and I think people are gonna find themselves a little enlightened. Because a lot of people don't realize that there is, quite frankly, gold to be found in pretty much any state. It's just whether or not it's feasibly economical to recover it.
Josh,
and on what scale.
It took me by surprise because I've heard, and even on my farm in Tennessee, I have the Clearwater Creeks that's running all through there, and I've never put a pan in it. But I think after this show, that's going to change. But I got to looking around at just how many states they're finding the flakes or nuggets or whatever. It really surprised me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some announcements to make during the show. And I suppose, like always, remember, folks, you might want to keep that number on speed dial.
Yes, speed dial.
And as we saw last week, there are some people doing it, because I'm telling you what, when the first opportunity for the wild card entry came up, Tar Heel Diggin just jumped on that and swept it right out the door.
Man, gotta be fast in here.
And he was.
These listeners are quick, and they know the game, so you better be ready.
That's right. So, speaking of being ready, I'm sure our guest is ready too, so we probably ought to get him in here. Our guest this evening is Mr. Patrick O'Masters. He's actually a gold prospector / metal detectorist, and really has a good time getting out and enjoying the hobby, and he'll be sharing some of his experiences with us tonight. It should be some good times. He's a great gentleman to talk to. So let's get him in here. How's it going tonight, Patrick?
Great, Josh. Thank you. And thank you, Kenny, for having me.
Welcome to the show.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Well, why don't we start by maybe giving the listeners a little bit of a rundown for those who may not know much about you. You've got some time in the hobby and either prospecting or metal detecting. How did this all get started for you? Did you always have an interest and just get into it one day, or what sparked it?
Well, like Mark Twain said, I'm a rightly constructed boy and always had an interest in seeking treasures. Didn't matter what kind.
Right. Absolutely.
It was about 13, 14 years ago, I heard a news story on the local television news about some brothers from Michigan finding a big hunk of quartz and gold here in Ohio, and my son and I looked at each other and decided we were going to go up there and find this place, and we drove up into Richland County, and gosh darn, we found it. And got to talking to some folks up there, and it got us interested in the goings-on up there, and we contacted the Gold Prospectors Association, who were running some properties up there, and we were hooked right away.
Wow. Outstanding. Yeah, I mean, that's just a big quartz, and it's laced there with the gold, and that'll get just about anybody's attention that's into preserving the history or the, let's just say, precious metals in this case. There, look what it started.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I've seen pictures of this quartz. It was actually quite an impressive specimen.
Oh yeah, I love seeing that when people are posting like the quartz and gold matrices. Really nice looking specimen pieces. If you're into displaying that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we have the pleasure of having found one small piece of quartz with gold in it in southern Ohio at an Ohio State prospector's claim, and we keep it on display. It's a nice little prize, a token, you know.
And that was your first one you're talking about?
No, this is a different prospecting organization that's just here in Ohio, and they also have some claims here, and they have a nice one down south. We went and spent a day dredging down there, and we actually turned up a nice picker that day, and a nice little quartz gold specimen.
Nice. Now, I'm kind of, well, it's like in my case and many others that's in here, or same with any of the coin shooters. That first one, I think I would have to put somewhere. It's kind of like you don't throw away your first fish, so you got to kind of keep that first one, you know.
Yep, we have a little box. We keep our little vials of gold in, our little fly poop, we call them, because they're so small you couldn't even pick them up with your fingers.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to use like one of the sniffer bottles, I'm assuming, to pick them up.
Yes, sir.
And I guess that's another thing maybe we should explain, with like the Gold Prospecting Association, you have the Buckeye chapter as well as other chapters, but that's not the only prospecting association involved in the States.
Oh, no. Across the nation, there are several gold prospecting organizations. In Ohio, the Ohio State Prospectors Association formed, 4, 5, 6 years ago. They have 4 claims across the state now also, and they're spreading out. It was just a good alternative to the GPAA, less activity on the claims. They haven't been as worked over, and some of them have pretty good gold on.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
That you can't beat. And if a person was, say, interested in getting into something like that, the membership fees are really not that bad considering the potential benefits.
No. You could join either of those, either the Gold Prospectors Association of America, it's like $80 a year. The Ohio State Prospectors is $100 a year. And they offer discounts if you're like a veteran or have, handicapped children or stuff like that.
Right. You know what impressed me was talking to you earlier, and for the listeners, when you think prospectors, I'm sure a lot of people, they watch, on the Weather Channel, the prospectors, obviously, with their minerals and gems and stuff, and they're having to purchase claims or lease claims. And with one of the organizations you were talking about, for your $80, I believe that's annual due, you actually get a book of claims that you just automatically get.
Right, yeah, it's the size of a telephone book, and there are hundreds of claims across the whole country. You have access to all of them. It doesn't cost you any more above your membership.
Yeah, I wish somebody would walk up to me and tell me, hey man, give me $80, I'll give you this big book with all the Confederate camps. I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, going, where do I sign up for that membership? I'm there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
most of them camping. It's a good time, a good family experience. Kids, dirt, and water is a good equation.
Oh yeah, kids love that stuff for sure.
Wow,
you can't beat it. And I'm assuming, and maybe this is a little bit presumptuous on my part, but if you were to join the Buckeye chapter, the GPAA, and you get this list of different claims that you could go and visit to prospect on, camp, whatnot, that also allows use of metal detecting, or are some of these sites restricted for that?
No, we metal detect all the time. There are enough detectorists in our chapter that we actually hold regular metal detecting events at our meetings and stuff. As long as you're out of the green belt, different states have different regulations. Here in Ohio, we have to stay out of the area 20 foot from the edge of the waterway, so we're not interrupting the flow of the river or changing the flow of the river. So if you're either in the gravels in the river or outside of 20 foot away from the edge, you can prospect pretty much anywhere on the claim.
Right.
And that's, that's allowing use of what the sluices, the highbankers, the dredges, the whole 9 yards, or are there only certain types that you can do?
Well, here in Ohio, we can use anything up to a 4-inch nozzle dredge. Some places, you're not allowed to use powered equipment, for example. Some, you're only allowed to use hand tools.
Right.
And those are all listed in the claims guide also.
So not only are the claims listed, it actually kind of informs you on the do's and don'ts, so to speak.
Yeah, and claim conditions, and there'll be contact information and stuff like that. It's an invaluable resource. If you want to go out, say you're going to make a road trip and want to stop out in Colorado, and there's a claim in there you want to go visit, you're more than welcome to show up there, call in advance, get information, see what you need, and that's all there is to it. They send you everything that you need to get started. You get your claims guide, you get some instructional video, you get a gold pan, stuff like that, and a hat, of course. Every prospector has to have a hat.
Nice. Yeah, gotta have the hat, man.
So basically, you've got everything you need at your disposal in a sense. You need to have your membership money and ambition.
Yep. They send you a card that says you're good to be there, and you'll get contact information. And, prospectors today aren't like the grizzled old long underwear wearing, coots that were real secretive about their stuff. It's a family thing, and we're all out having a good time together, sharing information and sharing a good time. And the real gold's not in the river anyway. It's on the bank where all the people are gathered.
Right. Where maybe part of the river used to be.
Well, where you're making friends.
Right. Yeah. So with the prospecting, it's much like detecting in the sense of there's a tight knit community, a lot of camaraderie and friendship.
I got a question for you there. Let's say you go to a claim you haven't been to yet. You find this claim, you're like, okay, I want to try this one out. Done a little research on it because, as we all know, that's key to any successful adventures, your research. That's my opinion. So you get in there, and do you break out your metal detector to maybe, let's say, the AT, since it's all terrain, maybe get in there and swing around a little bit to maybe
Find the hot spots?
Yeah, find maybe a hot spot, or do you just, because that's probably what I would do being a newbie. I would, is that something you've done or you would suggest to do?
Well, most of the gold that we find is actually probably too small to set off a metal detector. I'm sure there are places where you could find, thicker size that your detector would pick up. And there are claims out west that actually don't have water on them, that people primarily metal detect. They nugget shoot out there. And I tried that once. I was very inexperienced. Had a machine that was totally inadequate for the task. But I still went out there and had a good time, just roaming around shooting for nuggets. Got a lot of hot rock.
Right. Well, ground balance and running 18 gigahertz at least to pick up the small stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I had an old, what was it, a White's Beach Hunter or something, or a White's. It was an old machine I got in secondhand, and like I say, I didn't know what I was doing yet, but I knew I was going out there where people did that kind of stuff, and I took my detector with me and gave it my best effort.
Well, I tell you what, since we're on metal detectors, there's a lot of them that's being made right now to pick up that small gold. The AT Gold does pick up, some small stuff. The Deus will pick up, real small gold. And of course, we all know the conductivity is a lot lower. A higher frequency, the gigahertz that they've got now that they put on some of these machines does help to kind of locate some of it anyway.
And I'm sure with a good machine, you could pick up a hot spot where gold is accumulated. The vast majority of the gold we find is so small you couldn't even pick it up with your fingers.
Right. Kind of like because it's still, even though it's small, it's probably still heavier than, if one piece is there may be another, like a little, like in between a crack or something where it would just settle.
All right, because, gold, alluvial gold travels with the velocity of the water flow, and anywhere where the velocity slows down to where it can't transport a piece of gold anymore, it drops out. A bend in a river where the pressure of the water changes, or behind a rock, or they get caught in the moss on the side near the edges, And find hot spots where you can get quite a bit of gold in one sitting, or you'll be out in the middle. Like here in Ohio, it's all flood gold. So it's just basically all in the top layer.
Right. So bring some patience with you with the rest of your equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, because I'm sure this is nothing that happens right away. It takes patience, takes practice.
It took me 1.5 years to find my first teeny speck. And you'd think I found a brick of gold. I was just carrying on, hooting and hollering, and showing it off up and down the river, and people were giving me the look.
But that's why you do it. That's why. Is for that moment right there. I'm the same way. I find something, especially if I'm looking for that particular thing and I find it. Yeah, man, I get excited about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely the moment that gold fever struck.
I'm trying to recall now, which came first for you, the prospecting or the detecting?
The prospecting came first.
Oh, wow.
I became active in the chapter, held an officer position, was working on common digs and stuff, and we decided to travel to a gold show in Pennsylvania. Several years ago, the GPAA has gold shows around the country. My fiance lived there, and she was at the booth, and we were introduced. And it was in 2004. That was it. We were introduced, and then years later, we were in communication on a level with the chapter and realized, hey, that's that person that I met. We started talking and found that we shared a whole lot of interest. She was actually a metal detectorist long before I was, and got me hooked on the hobby.
Nice.
Well, then. So that was definitely a memorable trip, in a sense.
It was a memorable trip. I had a great time and met the woman that I love and will be with the rest of my days.
There you go, man. I've got one of those myself. It goes a long way to be able to focus on your hobby, no distractions, get out there and do what you do.
And we do it together, Doing it together is not a fight when I want to go prospecting or metal detecting.
Right.
Nice.
Maybe a little bit of friendly competition in the field. Who makes the better find that day?
A lot.
Indeed. But that, yeah. Now, okay. We're not going to ask what the bets are, but I guarantee you that's fun right there.
Yep, that's a good time.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
have this granddaughter. I have custody of a granddaughter, and she's 5 now. We spend a lot of time at the parks so that she gets to play. She metal detects a little bit, but she's really not that into it. But she doesn't mind going and playing in the park while we metal detect. Now, she got a detector now. She's got one of those Go Finds.
Nice.
Well then, and what's she thinking of that? We just gave one of those away on the show a few weeks ago.
Yes, we did.
From our friends over at Treasure Hunter Supply.
Yeah, and I believe Mr. O'Halleck Relic Hunter was the winner on that one.
Yes,
Yes,
he was. I like it. It's an okay machine for what it is. I don't want to. Don't make it for what it's not. It's a good little machine. It's compact. It's always handy and ready to go, and it doesn't take a whole lot of knowledge to make it work. It just is. It's a good little detector.
Right. It has its pros and cons. I mean, look at it realistically. It's not a GPZ. It's not a CTX. But it has its advantages in its own little area.
It does. And with a lot of the machines in that price range, I mean, not everybody can go out and buy a GPX. I mean, there's just too many other priorities in life to spend, that kind of money for a lot of people on a metal detector. And, when you get into the Garretts, the AT Pros, the AT Golds, the Profines, some of the Fisher, some of the $600 to $700 machines. I mean, those machines are good machines. And you know what? You got to know the machine, and you got to put the coil over the soil.
There you go. Yep. Yeah, you take someone with a, we'll call it lesser machine that is very proficient with it, and put them next to somebody with a high-end machine that they're not familiar with it. That person with the lower-end machine is going to outperform them.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You can have the best equipment available to you, but if you don't know what it's telling you, you're not going to produce much.
Nope. No, Susie's got this old Bounty Hunter 505 Pro that she's had forever. I can't pry it from her finger. She's got a Tesoro. She's got a Garrett. She's got a lot of metal detectors. Nope, she just insists on using that Bounty Hunter.
I've got a friend like that, and he's made some nice finds with it. I mean, the thing's beat up, missing knobs, been rained on, rattled around, but if it ever quit working, I'm convinced he'd go and try to find the exact same model.
Oh, yes. Yeah, she has parts broken off of it, but you know what? When she says, hey, this target is this, and she digs it up, I'll be darned, that's exactly what it was. She knows her machine.
And that goes to say a lot, because once you learn what it's telling you, I mean, the machines are great, they all detect metal, but in the end of it all, they're an extension of you. You're the final judge or determination on whether or not you're going to dig that item.
Mm-hmm.
Well, dig it all, baby.
Right.
I dig a lot of trash.
Right. And you yourself have been in detecting for a few years now as well, and had some experience with a few different machines. What did you wind up starting out with?
Well, I started out with that old secondhand whites that I had. I ended up buying a Garrett 350 Ace at Gold Rush Days one year. And gosh darn it, the very first day I went out and used it, I found a big old fat gold ring. And the next day I went out and found another gold ring, and I was immediately hooked. There was
and doggone Garretts, I don't know what to say about them. The first musket ball I ever found was with a 250. And the thing about those 250s is you learn the tone. I mean, and that's what it's about. Numbers are numbers, and they can assist you. Yes, they can. But that tone is where you're going to succeed. Learn the machine. Listen to what it's telling you.
Audio wins out over VDI.
Every signal.
You can't beat it. You just can't beat it. If I remember right, aren't you running a AT Pro?
I am running an AT Pro, and I really like that machine.
Great
It'd be hard to
machine.
pry that from my hands.
Great machine. The Gold's the same way. I both of them, and they're the same way. I know Swansea uses one, and
Oh yeah, Swans loves his.
that machine. Let me tell you what. I have, of course, anybody that watches my videos, I also use the Deus, but I still use that machine as well. Matter of fact, I got video right now that I haven't uploaded since I've been up here in Missouri, and where I picked up the Gold. I set the Deus down for a while, picked up the Gold, and I mean, it didn't take but I think it was about 10 minutes. I pulled a Rosie out, and I just love those machines.
Yeah, well, and having went from the Ace to the AT was an easy transition. They function very similarly.
Yes, I've heard that from a number of people that really the transitional period there was not much at all. There was a little bit of a learning curve for some, maybe just because of the added features, but even that wasn't intimidating, we'll say. We've got a caller.
All right.
Go ahead, caller. Who do we have?
Home Finder.
Home Finder, buddy.
Wow.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm listening to the story here, and I wanted to get on the line so I could hear better.
There you go.
Hang in there with us, and we'll see what's going on. With the prospecting end of it, you've actually got experience in quite a bit of the prospecting equipment, and even own some what some may consider some rather pricey pieces of equipment for prospecting.
Oh, well, like everyone, I started out with a pan, eventually had some success, and you come to a point where you realize that you have to move more material. So I went up and got a stream sluice, and did pretty good with that stream sluice. You classify your material, and you move more material, you're going to find more of this alluvial flood gold that we have around here. Well, then after a while, you start realizing, if I move more material, I might get more gold. So I ended up, I drove all the way to the other side of Kokomo, Indiana, and bought a highbanker dredge combo that a fellow had made up there with wheels on it, so it made it real easy to get in and out of the creek. I've been hooked on the dredge combo ever since then. A highbanker you shovel into. A dredge has a hose that you suck the material up off the bottom of the creek. So if you have a combo unit, you can dig for a while till you get a hole that holds enough water that you can start dredging. By that time, you're tired of shoveling anyway.
Yeah, by that time the
Right.
back's saying, hey, it's time to switch.
Yeah, going, hey, this stuff is kind of heavy. I don't know what you're planning, but get to it.
Yeah, you spend a day out prospecting, you realize that it's more work than people think. There's greedy prospectors out there taking the gold. I mean, you get a shovel in your hand for 4 or 5 hours, it works the greed right out of you.
Right.
That's a good point. All that hard work, you suddenly start to change your perspective a little bit, I'm sure.
It is. I have watched video and stuff on how they do that, and I've actually seen the frustration come out of some of these guys that I've watched. It's like, man, they're working, but, it only takes that 1 second, to get into something to make it all worthwhile.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And
yeah, sometimes it's just one little speck.
Right.
Right. Like you were saying, the first piece you found, it may have just been a little speck, but you might as well have just found a brick of it.
Oh, yeah. The way I was carrying on, yes, you wouldn't have known the difference.
Nothing wrong with that at all. And with the highbanker mention, I should also mention too at this point, for those who haven't dropped into Treasure Hunter Supply on Facebook, probably ought to drop in and give them a like. They've got a little something going on. You'll see that I shared a link in the event page and on Beyond Sight and Sound Facebook group today, mentioning, wouldn't this be a nice piece of equipment to have?
No doubt. And they have been really busy with things going on. And this is just another step to go ahead and let them know what they're doing.
That's the Keen Power sluice I saw, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's a nice highbanker right there.
Yes, the King Power Sluice highbanker. It's I believe it carries a $1,600 price tag there at Treasure Hunter Supply, and I believe it has a Honda motor on it, so it's got a good motor.
Right.
Definitely a handy little piece of kit to have. Now, some people think, oh man, yeah, that does look neat. I might be interested in trying one, but that's just a little out of my price range. Well, drop into their Facebook page or treasurehuntersupply.com. But if you drop into the Facebook page, drop them a like if you haven't already, and find the number for the shop. You can get it off their Facebook page. You can get it off of the website. You can see the dredge. You can see the highbanker on the Facebook group, in the event page, and on their website. If you go through for prospecting accessories, you can find an image of it right there, the price, any other information you may need. What Treasure Hunter Supply is doing is they're going to do a raffle for a Keen highbanker. $10 a ticket, 5 tickets for $40. All you have to do is drop into the shop, ask them about it, or if you're not near the shop, call them up on the phone. Tell them you'd like to purchase some raffle tickets. They can take care of that over the phone, mail your tickets out to you, and I'm sure you will be seeing information coming available soon on the website or on the Facebook page, probably the Facebook page first, where they will be releasing that information. I don't think I have a date right now as to when that raffle will end, but it is just beginning. You heard the news here first, as far as I know. But that could be a handy way to get yourself a nice piece of equipment.
No doubt about it.
Say you buy one ticket and you win, you can't beat the price of a highbanker for $10.
Quite a return for the $10 bill.
Yeah, I did that last year. A friend of mine here in Ohio and his wife, Buckeye Sluice, built a highbanker, and I was at an OSPA meeting, and I bought a ticket and didn't even really think about it, and gosh darn it, they drew my ticket. And I took it home and plumbed it up and made a little inspection tray for it. It sits above the hopper, so we can dump our buckets and shovel onto this inspection tray, and then they rinse everything down into the hopper from there, and it gives Susie and Ava a chance to look at all the pretty rocks and maybe find an arrowhead or some specimen before it actually gets down in the system and gets lost in the tailing pile.
Oh,
nice.
Good point.
Yeah, that's good.
Definitely.
I love that highbanker.
Right. And the way it sounds, obviously it must be producing for you.
Well, it's produced a bunch of concentrates for me. I have yet to clean them up this year yet.
Sounds like a good wintertime activity.
That's exactly what it's for, because when you run the sluice, you end up with concentrates is the term for what you recover out of the sluice box. All the heavy stuff is gathered up in there, and the gold would be among that. And I usually take home a half a 5-gallon bucket each time I go out and just set them out in the garage away from cats, because cats also like concentrates for their particular reason.
Right.
Then bring them in the house in the wintertime. We have a little cleanup sluice in the basement, and we sit and process out concentrates in the wintertime and glean all the gold from them.
Wow. Well, I'm learning. This is a learning show for me. You know, I'm a metal detectorist. I'm a Civil War buff and stuff, and this show here, you know, is a very let's just say informative one. Learning a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that they just think, whether they're not looking at it as far as terms as a big picture or what, some people, they get their detector, they get out there, and they just think, okay, this is it. This is as good as it gets. But there are other options here. The hobby is so vastly faceted that there's so many different aspects you can get into, whether it's the prospecting, bottle hunting, dump digging, metal detecting, relic hunting, whatever.
Well, I mean, Josh, you guys, look at social media that we used to didn't have. I mean,
absolutely.
This, I mean, everybody sees what everybody's doing, and everybody wants to do it. So,
going, wow, that's a nice find. I never thought about that. I should try that.
Right, but yet on the other hand, I've got a saying that if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yep.
Right. And we all know from experience that it's not as easy as it may look.
No, it is not. For all the videos that I have that are considered good videos, or however you want to label them, there's a lot of them in between. It's like I'm scratching my head and I was like, man, I knew it was here. Where the heck is it? You know, those days where you're, you know, it's not going, the things the folks don't see on the videos and stuff like that. It's, you earn it. It's all paying your dues. That's what it is.
You work for it. That's like they see us post pictures of finds, and oftentimes they don't see the, you know, small pile of trash that we dug to get those items.
Absolutely.
Overburden.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good way to put it. It's the overburden. That's a very
Susie
good
got
way
me
to put
into
it.
fossils also.
Yes.
She discovered some fossil in Pennsylvania years ago, and something, 10 syllables long, Sue. They named it after her. So, and she couldn't rattle the name off. I could not tell you what it is, but she drags me out every once in a while to shale outcroppings, and there's a state park here with a fossil field, and there's a job I'm working on, and they had some large rocks out front as part of their landscape, in the 1-ton range. It took me a couple of years, but I finally got permission, and they gave me this rock that has horn corals all in it, and one of these horn corals is like 12 inches long. If I can figure out how to extract it out of this boulder that now sits in my backyard, it might go on display somewhere.
There you go.
Wow.
I find a lot of that stuff myself. I have, like I said, I have property in Tennessee and up in the mountains and stuff. And you look, I find a lot of shells, whole ones that's in the rocks and stuff. And here you are, you know, way above sea level. So a lot of interesting things.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the whole of Ohio was a shallow sea at one point.
That's right, it was. And if you look, you know, you gotta have a keen eye for some of that stuff. But if you look, you never know where you're gonna find those fossils either.
Yeah, and Pat, Ohio relic hunter said nitric acid. You know, just
nitric acid. I'm not sure if it'll attack the fossil. I know it'll attack the rock, the limestone that it's in. It'll probably eat the fossil too. I'm thinking I ought to try drilling some holes and chipping out the big piece and then working on it slowly.
Probably.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, because you know the paleontologists, when I watch them, and I'm into all of that stuff, and they've got brushes that's smaller than my toothbrush, and you're just sitting there talking about patience. Imagine
air scribes
unearthing a T-Rex with a jewelry brush.
And a toothpick.
Good gosh.
Yeah. Well, the next person that owns this house is going to look at that rock and go, why did this dummy put this giant rock in the middle of the backyard? I know that's what's going to happen.
That had to have been a regular chore in its own, just moving it.
Yeah, it really was. Well, the guy at the job says, yeah, just tell me when you're going to take it so I don't have people calling saying you're stealing the landscape. And I said, oh, it'll be gone in 10 minutes. There was a bobcat. The plumbers were using a bobcat. And his buddy of mine, I said, hey, pick this rock up, put it in my truck. And we drug it home and rolled it out in the backyard.
Well, that takes care of that.
It's gone.
Wow.
Very good.
Now, you said that the GPAA, the Buckeye chapter, actually has 3 claims in Ohio.
Yes.
And what are they?
Well, we have the Swank claim, east and west, up in Richland County. And then we have the Frazee claim. It's over in Knox County. It's different than the Swank. The Swank is a lot of gravel with deep bedrock. The Frazee has some exposed bedrock, and there's not many good prospecting places in there. there's plenty of room to prospect, but a lot of people tend to gravitate towards that exposed bedrock. People with dredges, of course, they work their way upstream into the gravels. And then there's the Lewis Plain, and it's in southern Ohio, almost down to the Ohio River, between Portsmouth and Waverly. And that's big water down there. You definitely would want high bankers and dredges down there. You're not going to go down there with just a gold pan and a shovel and do very well.
And that's one of those deals where if you were to apply for a membership for the Buckeye I guess it would be the GPAA, you gain access to those claims.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you gain access to all the claims that in the GPAA holdings. Like I said, there's hundreds of them. And most of them have camping. I believe the vast majority of them have camping available. And you can go to one, stay for 2 weeks if you want, leave, go to another claim for 2 weeks, and then you can come back. That's pretty much their limitation. You can't stay at a GPAA claim more than 14 continuous days.
Right.
Still, that's a fair amount of time. That's more than I would expect a person to be allowed.
Right. And then they have the Lost Dutchman Association, where people are actually buying, and it's considerably more than a GPAA membership as far as the cost goes, but they own their property. They improve their property. And if you're in
I
the
would.
GPAA, you get invitations to some outings at some LTMA properties.
And which I imagine a lot of the chapters do, but the Buckeye chapter also organizes events, and you've actually got an event coming up this weekend that I believe, if I remember right, is the second largest annual event for the Buckeye chapter?
Yeah, it's the Fossicking. It's our Australian-themed Common Dig event. It's on a regular meeting weekend, so we have a meeting in the middle of it all. But it's, like I say, it's Australian-themed. It's a free Common Dig. People come out, they bring their families. We set up equipment. We have long toms and high bankers and stuff. And we work, shovel, take a little break, have some lunch, go to the meeting, come back, play a little bit more. Then we'll clean up. Everybody will split the concentrates that we generate in the dig. And then we'll have a draw among the participants, and the number one draw might win a gold nugget, or we have some kangaroo scrotums we're giving away, gold pans, extra cons, whatever. We have, there's always plenty of stuff for the people that participate.
Okay, and this is going on,
nice.
Is this a one-day event or a weekend event, or how does this work?
It's 2 days. 2 days
Okay.
this year. On the 13th and the 14th, things will kick off, 10 a.m.-ish, maybe a little earlier. I'll be up there bright and early, about sunrise, setting up equipment. And we'll have the Common Dig going on. In the afternoon of Saturday, we're going to have a concentrate cleanup party / cookout. The chapter's going to provide hot dogs and hamburgers. So if you want to bring a bag of chips or a can of beans or something like that, more than welcome to come on up. We'll have a cleanup, and then after the sun goes down, we're going to have our first ever nighttime metal detecting hunt.
Oh, now there you go. That's a nice addition.
Well, it's just we're always trying to find some ways for our members to have a good time.
Right. I'm assuming, is this only open to members, or is this a way where, like, anybody can show up and learn about it and possibly even become a member?
All our meetings and events are open to the public. Anyone that wants to show up, just come on down. You can camp if you're a GPAA member, or if you're a guest of a GPAA member, but anyone's welcome to come down and play in the water and have a good time with it.
And we're joined by another caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey guys, this is Bill, Ohio Relic Hunter.
Mr. Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hi guys. Hey Pat, how you doing, buddy?
Good, bud. How you, man?
Hey, I'm great. Hey, I've got a question for you.
All
I know
right.
you've recently started using the AT Pro, and I was just kind of curious what you run your settings on when you're out in the field.
Good question.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, I generally keep mine in the custom mode, and I blank out everything a couple of notches below the nickel, and I keep my iron discrimination high, and my sensitivity high. Keep my coil low to the ground and go nice and slow.
I got you. It sounds like a good plan. I also run the AT Pro, but I run it on Pro Zero and pretty much dig whatever repeatable signal I find.
There you go.
But hey, there seems to be a little bit of confusion in the chat, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, which I've met you personally, so you can see the humor here. What exactly is a roost-croat?
A roost-croat. In Australia, they have a lot of kangaroos, and they treat them like we do deer here. They hunt them. They eat them. The hides are tanned and used as leather. Some enterprising individual realized, hey, they're throwing away the scrotums. So he started tanning them and making them into these little gold pouches. And they are the perfect gold pouch because, you gotta be careful when you say this, they have no seam in them.
Exactly. See, I had a little bit of inside information there. I figured I had to throw it out.
Well, that is a good point. I never really thought about that, but when he mentioned that they were giving those away, I'm sure there were some people in the chat going, "What?"
Yeah, I actually wasn't going to call, Josh. You know how I am about the phone and the show, but I had to. I couldn't resist.
Right?
So
thanks for calling, man.
That is a good point, though, because I'm sure that did wind up stirring up a bit of confusion in the chat.
They're nice little mementos. People love to get them. I finally got one myself. I've given away dozens of them. I finally got one for myself.
And I hear they hold up very well.
They're leather.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put my 2 cents worth in there. And Pat, I will see you at the Fossick, and I would like to say that if anyone's listening who wants to have a good time, the Fossick is great. You know, the common dig operation in the morning, and the detector hunt is at night this time, if I believe, or if I'm correct. Okay, and then you, of course, you'll have another common dig operation, and everything's free and all that kind of stuff. So
I'm sure Bill can attest for it. If I recall correctly, he's also a GPAA member and has attended these events in the past.
Yep, the last 4 years or so.
Right.
Yep. We dug together.
And I know the way he talks, he's always had a great time with it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now it is a seeded hunt, which is not a bad thing. They put some great things in the ground that needs to be mentioned as well.
Okay.
But, and Pat, if I'm remember correctly, there's a $10 entry fee.
It'd be about that. I'm not sure. Jen Johnson is our dig master, and she takes care of all that. But yeah, it's usually like $10. It's not an expensive dig to get into, and you'll definitely recoup in your finds your $10. That's for sure.
That's not bad for a seated hunt.
Exactly. That's where I was going with that. The last 3 or 4 years in a row. I mean, you pay your $10 entry fee. I've come out of there with at least $30 or $40 worth of silver. I hate putting a monetary value on my finds, but it's a great time, and the money goes to a great cause. It goes back into the check. Great thing to get into. So, I know we're running short on time, and I'm gonna get out of here. Pat, look forward to seeing you this weekend, buddy.
Thanks for the call, brother.
All right, hey, we'll see y'all later.
All right, we'll see you, Bill.
Josh, Kenny, we'll talk to you, buddy. Bye.
Yes, sir.
And Bill, yeah, I've talked to him before about these the Fossicks that the Buckeye chapter puts on, and he's told me it's just a great time. He's never had any complaints. Good people, nice finds, nice fellowship, and people can show up, bring the kids, and even learn how to use some of these types of equipment and stuff. Get a little more familiar with it, have a better understanding of how things are done.
Yep.
Yes,
exactly.
Indeed.
And you certainly can't beat that at all.
No, not for a free common dig. Normally we have a common dig at all of our weather permitting meetings. So through the spring and fall we have, and it's $6 to get in. That pays for the gas and the gold nugget and the prizes and all that, maybe some upkeep on the equipment in the spring, blah, blah, blah. But this one's free. It tends to bring a lot of people. The first one, we had almost 70 people participating in the common dig. And as the common digs guy, it was a bit overwhelming because I was used to having 10 or 12 or 15 people in the dig, and 70 people standing here looking at you going, okay, what do I do now? And nobody's hurting themselves.
Yeah, so you're kind of going, oh, maybe we need to get a larger staff to deal with all these people.
Absolutely.
More equipment.
Yeah. Which, how does that work? Because I imagine, obviously, the staff that helps coordinate the event and everything are GPAA members. How many people do you have there kind of has event staff, so to speak?
Well, there's 2 of us. There'll only be 1 of us at the Fossick this year, but there's plenty of members to come chip in, and there's regular participants in the digs that they just want to come and help, and they'll help set up equipment and do the tear down and stuff like that. So it's actually a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoy running the common digs.
That's great. And all the camaraderie and everything that goes into all of that is priceless.
Right.
And
I imagine along the way you pick up a few new members as well as some new friends.
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, our dig master came to a common dig. Jen came to a common dig, and I think that's what got her hooked, was that we were having such a good time out there just playing in the mud. Because the river was high, we had to go to the swamp on the other side of the claim, and we were digging in the mucky swamp water over there and still having a good time.
So I guess it just goes to show that there again, for anybody who's been in that sort of experience where they're in the swamp and the muck and stuff like that, they know how much work that can be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's funny how you forget all that when you're amongst friends or when you're having a good time.
Yeah, you just remember that guy that fell in the hole. There's always somebody that falls in the hole.
Right, and then when you're on the swamp side, that brings a whole new aroma to the area.
Well,
when you pull that mud out of there.
And in some of them areas, I'm sure you've got to keep a little bit of an eye over the shoulder, so to speak, for wildlife.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and Pat, Tim wants to know if you're getting a dunk tank for the weekend.
There was all kinds of talk on the gold prospector space this Sunday about getting a dunk tank. We've had a dunk tank at Gold Rush Days, and it went over pretty good. I'm not sure that we'll be able to pull one off for the Fossick, but I may be able to convince the chapter to get one for Gold Rush Days this year.
There you go.
Uh-huh. And who would be on the list to be dunked?
That was the next question.
There's a fellow from Dayton named Dennis that the consensus is they want to see him in it. But if it's hot enough, I'll volunteer.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, easy way to cool off. Maybe even do a little fundraiser type deal. Give them 2-3 shots for a couple of bucks and see if they can dunk it.
Yeah, I get to sit up there and cut up, pick at them, and
Right.
make them want to dunk me.
Yeah. Maybe even have somebody get some video footage to put up on the page of it. Look at we're having a blast.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that would catch a little bit of attention.
Yep. And for anyone that can't make the Fossick, Labor Day weekend every year we have this Gold Rush Days. It's a huge event. We have vendors, food trailer, all kinds of events going on. A whole weekend of free kids events. We have a nice play set there for kids to play on. Duck races and canning competitions, and we hopefully will have an inter-chapter tug of war. Again, the Golden Tick belongs to the Buckeyes this year. Just lots of good stuff going on that weekend also.
And is that the largest annual event? Because the Fossick is the second largest. What is the largest?
That would be Gold Rush Days. We've had that event for 20-some years now, and it just keeps getting bigger and better every year. President Glenn Snyder has put a lot of effort into ensuring that it's a good family event and that we all have a good time and everybody comes out smiling.
There
Well,
you
and
go.
obviously, if this is 22 years now in the running, you guys are doing something right.
Absolutely.
Yep, it's a
'Cause
good time.
you've got the people coming back, and not only do you have the people coming back, apparently they're telling their friends or something because it's growing.
Yeah, there'll be a couple of thousand people come through the gate of the claim there that weekend.
Oh, good.
Wow.
There'll be campers. The claim is a mile long. We have grassy area, probably 2/3 of a mile, a half to 2/3 of a mile, and it'll be campers the entire length of it.
Wow. Man, that makes for quite an event. I'm sure you got to kind of stay on your toes with that one.
Oh yes, yeah. We want to make sure that there's no troubles and that nobody gets hurt. And but it's not. We have a lot of people in the chapter, a lot of members, and everybody does a little bit, so that nobody has to work all weekend, and we all still get to have a good time too.
Right. And I guess another thing to bring up too, I know like with the detecting, we're all familiar, there's a certain code of ethics that we try to adhere to.
Gotta
right
have
ways
them.
and wrong ways of doing things, and the professional way and all of that. I assume there's probably something similar along those lines for the prospectors. Is that something maybe that's mentioned in the book, or you just gain that information from talking to others in the hobby?
And probably bylaws.
There's official rules. We're not to be digging in the banks. Stay in the waterway. We always leave the place cleaner than we found it. So we're not throwing trash around. You fill your holes in. You're not supposed to have dredges closer than 30 feet. We have to maintain distance from bridges and piers, stuff like that, yeah.
So pretty much, in a sense, common sense and courtesy, much like there is with the detecting, very similarly along those lines, anyway.
Oh, yeah. If somebody's set up, I'm not going to go down there and set up my highbanker and have my outwash flooding where they're picking up water. That's that would be rude. Yeah, so.
Yes.
And it might get a person knocked on his butt.
But you would think it's not an issue, but then again, sometimes it's surprising how many people don't think about that or don't give a little bit of common courtesy. So I imagine, much like with detecting, there's probably some bad apples in prospecting too. But you can't let that affect the appearance of the group as a whole.
No,
absolutely.
No,
and
we're all watching out for each other.
Right, that's what I was fixing to say. It's kind of like, our group here, Josh, that everybody's pretty much monitoring the situation.
Right, we have to kind of police ourselves, in a sense.
Yep, exactly. We watch out for interlopers, people that don't belong. Members always have the right, maybe they shouldn't take advantage of it sometimes, to ask, hey, are you a member? You got your card on you? We have a state director this year. He's working hard to make sure that we keep people out of the claim that really don't belong there. Former members have it renewed, or friends that claim to be friends of the landowner, or just, people that just don't belong.
Right. Yeah, I imagine that's always a good thing to keep an eye on. You just never know sometimes.
Nope, you don't.
And unfortunately, there are people out there who do try to take advantage of certain situations.
Yes, there is.
And how many years has this been now that you have been prospecting or detecting? Because you said you got into the prospecting first and then the detecting afterwards.
Well, I've been prospecting, actively involved with the chapter for about 12 years. I've been metal detecting now actively last 4 or 5 years, not long.
There you go.
Not bad at all. And I'm trying to recall, did we mention where this Fossicking is, or is that information they can find in the event? Like if they go to the Buckeye chapter on Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, you could find information on this and all our activities at www.buckeyegold.com. We can be found on Facebook on the GPAA Ohio Buckeye chapter group. It's between Belleville and Butler on State Route 97, just east of Highway 71 in Richmond.
Yeah, the Buckeye chapter of the GPAA, I believe, they're on the tab special events. I believe it'll pop up on there.
Yep.
All right.
And is that like a Facebook page that they can drop in and give it a like, follow it, or they just have to keep dropping in?
We actually have two Facebook pages. One is our member-driven page, and the other is the official chapter page, and they're linked together. So if a person finds one, they'll find both, and they have pretty much the same information on them. And then BuckeyeGold.com is a website. You can post pictures and stuff there. It's not as easy as on Facebook, since Facebook is self-hosting.
Right. And I imagine that there's probably, on one of those pages anyway, somebody is probably uploading videos about prospecting, maybe even right here in Ohio, that people can check out too if they'd like.
Oh, yeah. We have members. The fellow Ed Marvin makes videos of prospecting, and he's got a lot of videos there from the Swank claim. There's a lot of links to different organizations on our website.
Good.
Sounds like a lot of good information there then. And definitely a good time. You can find out about the membership requirements there, maybe even be able to apply for membership there. Is that a possibility off of the domain page where they can fill out like an online application?
Well, you can, to join our chapter, all you have to do is fill out a declaration of membership. You got to be a GPAA member first to do that. And they have a website, goldprospectors.org is the GPAA website. And that'll give a lot of information on the organization and the chapters and whatnot. And you can join directly from their website or call them on the phone. And if you do, tell them that you are affiliated with the Buckeye chapter. We get credit for those memberships, and that those points accumulate, and they send us merchandise and we can sell it like our sales table or raffle.
Nice.
Like that.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, very nice.
And that's good information. So if they want to become a member of the Buckeye chapter, they first have to register with the GPAA.
Right.
But then they come back. Is there like a registration fee or anything to become a member of the Buckeye chapter?
No. Once you're in the GPAA, you can join as many or few local chapters as you like for free. We're not even allowed to charge a membership fee, so we don't.
There you go.
The only thing we expect from you is a little participation.
Well, that makes it very nice then. So essentially, you're looking at, if I remember right, what, like $80 a year?
Yeah, it's $79, or they also have a shipping fee if you buy from them, from the Gold GPAA website. But I believe we have memberships available directly at the Fossick this year, where a person could buy that membership and not have to pay that $12 or $15 shipping fee.
Oh, very nice.
So that's a good thing too, and that'll also get them registered with the Buckeye chapter and get information, directly to their inbox of when our events are and our meeting schedule, stuff like that.
Yeah, I just had no idea.
Or something.
Had no idea what went into all of this, and pretty much, it's not just Ohio; it's states all over the country that you can get into this, and it's a growing thing, just like metal detecting. And this has been a very informative show for me. I've been listening a lot, learning a lot, and this has been good.
Oh yeah, I'd say it's been very informative. There's been some things that people have been enlightened on, and some maybe a little colorful than others. We solved the confusion in the chat about the roost groats.
Yeah, that's a great call, Bill. That's all I'm going to say. Great call.
Leave it to Bill. You got to stay on your toes around here. You never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I think every ruse scrotum site on Google has been hit in the last 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah, everybody's going and Googling and going, what in the world just happened? What happened to the show? What are they doing?
Well, you never know what's going to happen on this show, baby.
That's right.
Actually, kangaroo is pretty tasty. I've bought a kangaroo roast and took it to the Fossick one year and cooked it up, and it's like deer. It cooks like deer, about tastes like deer. It's okay.
Good grief. I guess I never really gave it any thought. Where in the world did you find something like that?
Oh, there's exotic meat stores around.
Well, yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. Maybe these places you can go and buy elk and caribou and...
Cabela's is a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Good point. Very good point. For those that have been following the show recently, you will recall last week we mentioned the wild card contest. For chances to get entered into the giveaway for the MindLab First Aid Kit, Maglite, water bottle, and carabiner compass. Information for that is now available on the BeyondSightAndSound.com website. I'll probably bring a post up in the Beyond Sight and Sound Facebook group as well to let people be more informed about what's going on with that. Also, last week we did have our first call-in wildcard entry, and the first registered member from the domain was selected randomly. The registered members were notified by email, but that registered domain member was PullTab. He, or she, I can't recall right off the top of my head, got the second wildcard entry into the contest.
Good.
I was going to select one off of the Facebook group, but I did not get around to it last week, so maybe later this week we'll select two, as far as members from the Facebook group. And obviously later this week there will be another one selected from the registrations on the Beyond Sight and Sound website. But tonight we had mentioned that there could be a chance for one lucky listener to walk away with a piece of gold. And before the show, Patrick mentioned that he found a nice little display case with 3 gold flakes in it, I believe it was. And we'll go ahead and open the phone lines for the first caller with the answer to this question. The Buckeye GPAA has 3 claims in Ohio. What is one of those claims? And it looks like we've got a caller here.
Speed dial.
Coins Unwrapped. How's it going?
Hey, I didn't quite understand the question. I think you were asking because I was in the middle of a phone call from my father because I just did something that's nothing to do with this show.
Okay.
Were you asking a question?
Yes, the Buckeye GPAA owns or has access, we'll say, to 3 claims in Ohio. Can you name one of those claims?
Man, I'm a lucky caller, but an unlucky listener. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff going back and forth, trying to pay attention to the show and everything else, so I won't keep you. I don't have an answer.
Okay, well, it was worth a shot. 4733. Do you have an answer to the question?
Lewis claim?
I didn't catch it. What was it?
Lewis claim?
Is that correct, Patrick?
That is correct. The Lewis Plain is in southern Ohio, down near Portsmouth.
Okay. Well then, who do we have?
Is that?
It sounds like it
my-
could.
It sounds like Lynette.
It is Lynette.
Oh.
Oh my God.
I got through.
All right.
Well then.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And
Thank you.
also with that comes the wild card entry from the show tonight. So you're also entered into the drawing for the MindLab First Aid Kit, water bottle, compass carabiner, and Maglite.
Awesome.
Wow.
Thank
Congrats.
Which, that drawing, we're going to be doing wild card entries up until Oh, I believe it's the second week of July, somewhere around there. We'll stop it the week before the 15th, and the winner will be randomly selected from the random wild cards and announced on the show that week.
Awesome. Thank you.
And if I recall correctly, you are on my Facebook list. Just PM me your shipping information, and I will get that out to Patrick so he can get that out to you.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick.
You're welcome.
Good show.
Well,
Nice.
It sounds like somebody's looking forward to getting a little display case with some gold flakes in it. That's a neat little item to add to their collection of displays.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Or, if you display your finds, that'll really be a nice addition there. Put it on the shelf next to some Civil War buttons or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or test your
Where's it
detector.
going to go?
Yeah,
You can test your
absolutely.
detector with them.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
see
good
what they
possibility
ring.
too. Yeah. See if the
All
detector
right.
picks up on them, how it reacts, maybe even how a pinpointer will react with them, how close you've got to be. I imagine you'd probably have to be pretty close with a pinpointer.
Yeah. I'm excited. That's great.
Yeah, that is definitely cool. Well, we've had yet another winner on Beyond Sight and Sound.
Yes, another winner. And you know what, Josh? I bet we'll have more in the upcoming shows.
Yes, sir, we will. That is without a doubt. And more good shows. Speaking of good shows, 24th, Howard Hewitt.
Absolutely. Don't miss that show, baby. How can you not come into this show and listen to Mr. Howard? I am so excited about that show. Great human being. Great hobbyist. I mean, he is good for the hobby. This guy is just outstanding.
Oh, yeah. And maybe we'll drop that name when we get a little closer. Maybe we won't. But we will also have the appearance of a previous guest to set in with us that it should make for some good times.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to keep in mind, too, definitely. And next week, you just never know. It's been a while since we've done an open line show and been able to sit down and just talk shop with the listeners. Who knows? Maybe next week we'll bring back an open lines night and see what we can find out.
There's always something to talk about on open lines, man. There's always something new to the hobby. There's always something to add.
Oh, yeah, what they've been finding, maybe some new equipment they're trying out, a new pinpointer like the Carrot, or maybe even a digger, or, they got a new machine, a new coil.
Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the predator piranha, which chews up roots and spits them right out.
It does do that, man. You can hear them. It's that piranha with roots. It's like the Rice Krispies of the Relic world. All you're hearing is snap, crackle, pop.
There you go.
But there's nothing wrong with that at all. For everyone else, from myself, Kenny Moore, Patrick O'Masters, Lynette, Homefinder, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, by all means, rate the channel, check out the GPAA sites. It may be something you're interested in, and it could be a good time for you to show up to that Fossick if you're able to attend. If not, by all means, keep the Gold Rush days in mind, and you can always follow all of that by finding their websites that we mentioned earlier. Some of the website links are even in the event page. Look around on YouTube for some of them videos about highbankers. Check the Beyond Sight and Sound Facebook group about them. You may want to drop Treasure Hunter Supply a line and get yourself some raffle tickets. Drop in and give their Facebook page a like, too, while you're there. That way you can keep up on what's going on with them. They've always got something brewing anymore, it seems like. They're on the ball, that's for sure. But like I said, if you enjoyed it, rate the show, We hope everyone has had a good time, and I know it's been very informative for some of us, and probably more than we even realize.
That's
for
right.
everyone else, hang in there with me, folks. We're going to roll on out of here. There's always next week.
And dig it all, baby.
And see what happens. Until then, dig it all. Get out there and dig and just find something. We'll see you next week, folks.
Still on there, Kenny?
I'm here, buddy.
I'm still here
You
too.
know what my first silver find was?